cheat day once again. I went ahead and mixed up a bunch of my doughs here yesterday evening, and this morning I'm ready to dive right in. I have some new ones here that I'm actually testing with you, so I really hope that they turn out, but we also have some tried and true ones. I'm gonna start off here with my bagel dough. This one deflated a little bit as I clunked down my bowl. First up, we're just gonna kind of shape this into a ball, and then I'll cover it with a damp cheesecloth here, and we'll let this sit for about 20 minutes. Next, I am so curious to mess with this new recipe that I'm trying. I'm a little bit nervous about it, but I really hope it turns out. I actually have this rising for a couple different things. This big bowl has a double recipe, so I'm hoping there's enough to turn into dinner rolls and hot dog buns. And then I have a smaller bowl here as well, which honestly my scale was causing me some trouble. So I'm not entirely sure if all my measurements are correct on this one, but that one I was hoping to shape into a cinnamon roll dough. So I'm kind of using the same recipe for all three of those baked goods, but we're gonna start off here with the dinner rolls and hot dog buns. I was going to weigh all of these, but my scale still seems to be out of sorts. So I'm just gonna eyeball it and hope that we are at least close in size. The rolls are shaped. I went with smaller rolls and I have them touching because I want like that pull apart dinner roll effect. So we'll see how these look. I'm guessing it'll be at least an hour or two until these will be ready to bake. So I'm gonna cover this as well and then shape the rest of this dough into some hot dog buns. Josh just did an experiment with my kitchen scale with the butter that has the actual weight on it, and it is showing way off, which means I don't have a kitchen scale today. I love to use a kitchen scale when I'm doing rolls like this, as well as our bagels here. I would do the hot dog buns with that just because I like that really nice uniform shape. So we're just gonna have to, and there's our timer for the bagels. We're just gonna have to try to eyeball everything here today, but if you have a working kitchen scale, I would highly recommend actually weighing things out so that everything looks uniform. To shape these, I'm just gonna kind of squish them into a log and then fold them over and kind of roll them up. The dough is fairly sticky and I was finding it was just starting to stick to my hands a lot. So it seems to work pretty good just to take a chunk of dough off like this and go the length of my bench scraper so they're kind of uniform in length at least. And then I'm just taking this, let me turn it so you can see it a little better. Just taking this and gently pushing it like this. I have no idea if this is a thing or not, but it seems to be working pretty well just to get it a bit of a tighter shape. And then I'm just gonna pull off that little end so that it's the length of my bench scraper, and then I just scoop it up and transfer it to my pan that way. And that seems to be working a lot better than what I was doing before. Don't judge too hard. This is what my hot dog buns look like right now. I'm gonna cover these as well, let them rise till they're nice and puffy. I'm very curious how these will turn out. I don't have terribly high hopes, but I think it will taste delicious. It feels like a really nice dough. I have some dough left, however. What do you need, honey? You want a hot dog? Well, they're not ready yet. We'll have to wait till they're ready. And I was thinking I would shape this into a sandwich loaf because that's actually another dough that I had hoped to make here last evening, but I ran out of starter. I actually went through my entire jar of starter. Thankfully, I had set aside a bowl of it before I had mixed that batch, so I could use an entire jar of it and then have enough to start my next feed here, which is ready this morning, but that doesn't give me enough time to let a sandwich loaf rise. So maybe I'm gonna turn this into a sandwich loaf. However, my kitchen skill was really acting up when I was mixing my cinnamon roll dough. So I'm gonna save this for now. What are you gonna say? The kids are actually out there picking some raspberries right now that I want to use for the cinnamon rolls. So I want to roll out that dough first and just see a little bit how it feels before I use this in a bread so that this can kind of be my backup for the cinnamon rolls. Now we actually need to work with this dough. That's for the bagels. I had done a double batch of the bagels, so I'm going to divide this into 16 pieces. We'll shape that into balls and then let that rest for another hour again. Okay, I think we're actually gonna scooch over this way because these have that long rise time. That way I can keep using this counter because I'll need a bigger one for cinnamon rolls. So grateful that in seasons of life when this feels super overwhelming, this is an option. I know so many of you already know and love Wild Grain, and for good reason. They are the first bake from frozen subscription box for sourdough products. And I really appreciate that when you look over their ingredient labels, it is words that you can actually pronounce. They don't have a bunch of preservatives and things in there, and they actually partner with different small bakers and pasta makers across the country to bring these to you. Everything goes from frozen to baked in 25 minutes or less, which is incredible. They actually recommend you don't thaw these ahead of time, so it's perfect for busy summer days, or even if you are a working mom and just want to get high quality baked goods on the table in a very short amount of time. These have been amazing, and actually I have to kind of hide these away in the freezer sometimes because the kids ask for these. They are so delicious. It does not compromise on flavor whatsoever. The last time was the first time we tried these ham and cheese foldovers, and everyone loved them. It's basically like a croissant with a little protein added, which is incredible. I also have their chocolate chunk cookies. These look delicious. There are biscuits, English muffins, croissants, and so many more delicious options. Now, if you are gluten-free or vegan or have specific needs that way, they actually cater boxes specifically to that as well. I believe they even have a special protein box, which I think would be really fun to try out. So if that is something that you feel like would be a blessing to your family in this season of life, definitely check them out. Even if you have like a postpartum friend, this would make an amazing baby gift, moving gift, honestly, in so many different areas. But Wild Grain was so kind as to offer me a discount code. You can use the link in the description box down below and then use the code This Golden Hour, and that will give you $30 off your first box plus free croissants for life. And let me tell you, these are delicious. The kids just came in with all these beautiful raspberries, so we are gonna tackle the cinnamon rolls next. I guess essentially raspberry rolls. And to do that, we're just gonna roll this out like a traditional cinnamon roll filling. Wow, this is a very sticky dough, so we'll see how it goes. You can touch it a little, yeah.
Wow.
have bubbles in it.
Wood?
The rolling pin?
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandma made it for me.
Where does she live?
Well, now she died and went to heaven.
Well, how
But
old?
she used to live in Canada, close to where Grandma and Grandpa Penner lived. Let's see. I'm gonna come in with some butter. Boy, this dough is so soft. I need to melt my butter. I don't usually measure how much of the filling I put in, but I'd say I have about a 1/4 cup of butter on here. We're gonna drizzle it with some honey and then put the raspberries on.
Me too.
Okay, and then we can take from these. Since my dough is so sticky, I made my fingers a little bit wet to roll these out. Try to get as tight of a roll as we can. There, and then you can dip your hands in there if you need. You don't want to make it too soggy or else it'll be kind of falling apart. Right. The cinnamon rolls, I would say, kind of worked. A very wet dough for sure, but it had so many bubbles. I would say it definitely has potential as long as they're not too wet to hold their shape. As I was putting them in the pan, I was like, maybe I should have put a little bit less raspberries in there, but we're gonna let that rise and see how it goes and move on to this last little bit of dough that I had saved from the rolls and the hot dog buns. And I'm just gonna shape that into a bread here as well. Well, this is so much fun, having so many things rising all at once. I'm so excited to actually test these things, but we are not, and I'm running out of counter space, let's see. We're not quite done with our breads, and I have 2 artisan loaves here that are very much begging for attention. They are bubbly as all get out, and I thought it would be fun to do a few flavors with those today. So I mixed some soaked raisins in with one of these loaves to do like a cinnamon raisin. And then the other one I just mixed as a plain loaf, but now before the second rise, I want to mix in some cheese and herbs and have that be more of a savory loaf. I have some xylitol left here that I've been trying to use up, so I'm gonna sprinkle some of that and then cinnamon in the raisin loaf. Okay, got my toppings ready. I have some herbs here. This is dill, parsley, and chives, and then some of my homemade cheese, and then I think I'll also sprinkle in some onion powder. I wish I had some garlic powder. I think that would be delicious, almost like a garlic bread idea, but this is what we have for now, and I think it'll be delicious. So after I have the filling in this one, we'll let these rest for 10 minutes before we like pull them and kind of shape them that way. Press it in a little bit. Our bagels have been resting for an hour now. So we're gonna go ahead and poke a hole into them, and you can be pretty generous with how big this hole is because it will shrink as they rise. Again, we're gonna do that with each of them and then let them rise for another hour. And just to ensure that they don't stick to my counter on this last rise, I like to generously sprinkle my countertop with flour. Our bagels are finally ready to bake here. So in preparation for that, I have a large pot of water here, almost to a boil. We're right on the verge. I also like to add in a little bit of maple syrup, about a quarter cup or so. I feel like that also really helps with the flavor of the final bagels. And then we also have a baking sheet here ready with parchment paper and cornmeal. This is a pretty coarse cornmeal that really helps to prevent sticking. I remember one time I made bagels and I did not add anything on my parchment paper, not cooking spray, nothing. And they stuck so bad. I learned my lesson. And I find that this works really well. I also feel like it gives it just a little bit of a crunch at the end, which is really fun. I like to boil them 30 seconds per side. You can do up to 2 minutes per side, but that length determines how chewy your bagel will be in the end. So I found that for our family, about 30 seconds per side is the sweet spot.
Mom, you're sitting on this side.
I'm gonna brush a bit of an egg wash on these bagels so that the toppings stick. I don't have a lot of like fancy different toppings today, but I think some of them I'll do a mixture of sesame seeds and poppy seeds, and then maybe some with some crushed freeze-dried strawberries. Where we are waiting on the stove. I think finally after 4 hours or so, our dinner rolls are ready. They are starting to look very nice and puffy. Really excited to bake those, but right now the bagels are still in there, and I also have another pan of bagels, so things are kind of backlogged there. But I want to work in the meantime on the recipe that I may have been the most excited about. It is ice cream sandwiches. So yesterday I mixed a pistachio cream and I threw it into the Ninja Creamy container so that it could freeze and we could mix it into an ice cream today. It is so good on pretty much anything, and I know around Christmas time I was very much enjoying that on very many different things and you kept seeing it. But I haven't had it much since then, and so we are bringing it back for summer in the form of ice cream sandwiches. This dough is a sourdough chocolate graham cracker, And so I want to use this for the chocolate wafers, if you will, on either end. I'll roll it out, but not quite as thin as I would for typical graham crackers, just because I want to make sure that they don't break as soon as we put the ice cream in. Not sure if these will hold their shape, but I'm gonna give it a try with this heart cookie cutter. And if they spread too much, I'll just kind of re-punch them after baking. Time to get our experiment rolls in the oven. So I'm gonna brush them with a little bit of an egg wash as well. And then we'll bake them at 375. I want to keep an eye on their temperature and color as they bake, but I'm guessing it'll be around 15-20 minutes. The sunshine is calling my name out there. It is looking so beautiful. I just want to go work in my garden and mow the grass, but we're almost there, so we're going to stick with it just a little bit longer. I popped my chocolate graham crackers into the freezer, by the way, just so that they hold their shape a little bit better in baking, because I'm waiting on the stove. My goodness, my oven timer just went for the dinner rolls. So first up, I'm gonna grab my food thermometer. If you're second guessing yourself, if any baked things are good, breads, cinnamon rolls, anything like that, this is super helpful. So I am testing, oh yeah, it's done, okay. How about the cinnamon rolls? Cinnamon rolls are not done, but the dinner rolls are. And this, let me grab another towel here, is what they look like. What in the world? I'm so excited to try these. I have really struggled with finding just a really good long fermented sourdough dinner roll recipe. So this is very encouraging. I'll see what Josh and the kids say too. That's always a good gauge, but this is so fun. Now we just need to butter them. For now, I'll put my hot dog rolls on here, which by the way, they did finish. They are not beautiful to look at, but I hope they still taste good. And I think for next time what I should do is place them closer together. That was kind of my goal, but I guess I should have done it even closer, because when you have it like this where once they're risen and baked, they're touching, I think that's kind of the vibe you want, right? Because store-bought hot dog buns you would have to like tear apart a little bit. So that's what I was hoping for, and I think that also keeps the centers more soft, because obviously you don't have that crust going around the edges. So a couple little notes. My cinnamon rolls didn't fare quite as good as my dinner rolls. I think too much liquid from the raspberries. So a couple of the upper edges are pretty dark. My strategy is, we're still gonna enjoy this. I'm gonna slather it with the cream cheese frosting and we'll eat it and enjoy it. For the frosting for that, I just whipped a bunch of cream cheese, put in some honey and vanilla bean paste, and then stirred in some more of the fresh raspberries to give it that beautiful pink color, but also little chunks of raspberry. I thought that would be delicious. So we'll spread that over and hope nobody tastes that some of my edges got a little dark. Wow, that is so good. I have our chocolate wafers here, and then the pistachio cream is just a little bit soft. I knew there was a risk of that because it wasn't able to freeze a full 24 hours. I'll show it to you up close. You can see the center there is just a little bit soft yet, so I don't think I can fill all of my wafers and make all of the ice cream sandwiches right now, but I want to at least do one or two to show you the idea. Yeah, it's definitely wanting to get runny on me, but this is the idea. And there is the sandwich loaf. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you were inspired in your kitchen this week, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, friends.
Golden, golden thing.